Has the price of SharpLink and Bitmine right here left you a little depressed? You know? Has the price of SBET being down today with Ethereum and Bitmine going up a little depressing? Yes, it has all been a little depressing. So I'm here to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly about it. And where do we go from here? What can we do next? Because ETH is, I think it's about to go on a major roll here. And this is exactly why we got into both SBET and Bitmine. The reason we got into them is this is going to roll. And basically, this is actually a setup. You can see 6-month chart is up 100%. I mean, it's looking great. This is an absolute bullish setup. You could just see it right here. It is going to rip. Usually October, November, December are very good for crypto, especially for risk on assets, which Ethereum is. I know a lot of people are trying to make it seem it's a little bit safer these days, but it is a risk on asset. So we're going to get into it. And, you know, there's a lot of news, also Ether Machine and private financing and all that stuff is coming out. A lot of other, reserve company tokens. I actually follow them all. I try to follow as many as you can. You can see through here, Ether Machine is down. A lot of them are down today. When you compare SBET to what happened out there, it's always sitting in the middle. And also SBET is getting a lot of hate on Twitter, which we're going to go through what's happening. But they're still buying, okay? They're still buying. This is what you got to keep in mind. Their MNAV is now 0.95. I've seen as low as 0.91 and 0.92. Of course, these things change slightly. So it's actually selling below NAV. So this is very interesting. What does this mean? Well, I showed you something last time. If you guys watched one of my last videos, that I made a ton of money on the NAV being below on this particular, I guess a trust, not really ETF. It's a trust. It's called the Bitwise 10. It's 10 cryptocurrencies all in one index fund, right? When I bought this below NAV. And the reason I made already 3x on this, over 3x, this is the best performing vehicle in my portfolio. And the reason it is the best performing is because I bought it under NAV. Buying under NAV is risky, but also the reward for the upside is huge. Usually what happens is outside of the bull run, in the bear market, the NAVs, even on MicroStrategies, went way down. Okay, then it was trading below NAV. As you get into the bull run, like here, boom, it goes over NAV. So people like me who bought it below NAV, and this wasn't like, oh, we're like not in the bear market either. This wasn't bear market either. This is like, it's warming up. So the fact that I was able to get about a 33% discount, while now it's looks like about a 6 or 7% discount, 8% discount at most. Okay. Big difference. I made up that gap. And the reason I'm not selling is because I know it's going to make up the rest of this gap. And it might even, if we go historically, go back further enough, at times it's gone over NAV. When the market really heated up, it has gone over NAV. I mean, at one point, I don't think this will happen again, where the green line is, okay, so the green line is the market price and the NAV is the blue price. So you can see it's trading below NAV, and I purchased it below NAV. Around here, about $25, $26, and it was about $34 NAV. I mean, 50% difference, huge difference, okay? So I was able to make up that amount, and that's why this is the best performing asset in my portfolio. It's not because this asset has performed so well, it's because it's caught back up to NAV, which is exactly what happened in MicroStrategies. So we can only look at the past to predict the future. It doesn't mean it's gonna become the future, but basically from what we're seeing is the NAV of these things can drop, and even this is still slightly below NAV, okay? Now, this is an index fund, which is different than a product like SBET, which is a financial product. SBET is a financial product. You shouldn't be looking at this as a stock. It's a financial engineered product like MicroStrategies is, okay? So we got to understand how this is going to work. This is a financial product. Simple as that. Now, that it is a financial product, we know from data that it's not going to go too far under NAV, okay? We have a 0.95 under NAV. Ether Machine just raised a bunch of money, but they still have a long way to go. I don't think they're going to catch up. They're nowhere near it. You got a couple other guys who are above NAV, and you got a couple other guys that are below NAV. Some of the smaller ones are obviously below NAV, and that's just because people don't have any faith in them catching up. The problem SBET has is it's sitting in the middle. Bitmine is too big. So Bitmine is getting a little bit over NAV. Remember, it was getting like 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, and even 2 at one point. Now it's gone down. Okay? This happens because the full might of the bull market has not hit. The full might of it has not hit. When the full might of Ethereum hits, things will change. When will that happen? A lot of people are talking about when this is going to happen because a lot of people consider September as a bad month. I'm going to actually bring up some data that's going to refute this, okay? I don't think it's going to happen in September, but for us, you could call us bag holders. I hold a lot of it. You can call me a bag holder. I'm okay with it because this is an asset that's now considered undervalued. If I needed an average down, I would. This is probably the best place to average down at $16. To me, it's absolutely no-brainer. Is it going to go down lower? I mean, listen, it could go down to $15, but what is the downside? The downside is what, $15, and your upside is hundreds of dollars? Because once ETH moves, this is going to move with it. Same thing with Bitmine. It's the same exact thing that's going to happen over here. You think Bitmine is going to sit at a 1.1 NAV when the market starts moving and when people start to realize where this is going and when people start to realize that Bitmine owns so much Ethereum and is going to be making hundreds of millions of dollars a year just on staking it? This is already an undervalued asset. Same thing with SBET. When people realize all they're doing is staking their ETH and they're making hundreds of millions of dollars because the price of ETH is going to explode. They want to be accumulating, and the reason they're accumulating because they want to accumulate all this ETH for cheap. A lot of people are saying, oh, they're, SBET is selling their at the market at NAV. It's not a terrible idea. It's not the greatest idea. The reason they might be selling, the only reason they might be selling, which is not necessarily a terrible thing. Yes, selling it below 1 would suck, but getting more ETH into the system and staking it for those 3% rewards. And you're like, well, it's only 3%. Well, it's only 3% when ETH is 4,000. What if ETH is 12,000? Well, that's like 9% return because the price of ETH is 3 times where it is. Your return is 3 times where you bought it. Actually, buying it cheap is actually a strategy. Buying ETH cheap is a strategy. And buying ETH right now is a strategy because it's not going to stick here for long. It might have a couple more months where you can get it sub 5,000. What happens after that, okay? That's really the concern. Now, Bitmine has a 1.87 million ETH. Sharpling has about 837,000. I think probably they'll end up the month a little bit over 1 million, which is very impressive. Ether Machine is coming hot behind them both at about 500,000. I think they raise more money to get more. So they're coming in hot. Listen, I've said this from the beginning. Whoever buys the bond, whoever sells the bonds first will get there. I don't know why no one's done bonds. They might be coming. This is the secret of it. You need bonds. You need bonds. You need bonds. You need the convertible bonds. Whoever gets the convertible bonds to the market, raises the first $1 or $2 billion through BlackRock or somebody, is going to be the winner here. Why no one has done it yet? I'm assuming it's a little bit more difficult to sell bonds than I know of, at least billions of dollars of it or hundreds of millions of dollars of it. But you got these 3 guys competing very hard to get there. Now, where is all of this going to go? Let's just look at their website. And by the way, if you haven't read their press release, I mean, they haven't stopped. Even today, they're still buying. They're still doing. And they're still doing at the market, which is pissing off a lot of people. And a lot of people are talking shit about them. So we're going to go through what they're saying, and they still got more cash. They got 71 more million cash. Same thing with Bitmine. Bitmine is still doing great. They still got a shit ton of cash. They're still buying every day. And Tom Lee is about to do some major stuff, which we're going to talk about, which could really change the market for everybody, especially SBET, but especially Bitmine because he owns it. But SBET will get a lot of the good juju beads coming after it, okay? So as you can see, they are still buying. Every week, they're still buying, all right? You can see the balance. You can see. Now, the problem people have is you see the at the market. But the at the market, guys, it's slowing down. You see that? A lot of people are panicking, but it's only 2.4. I'm going to assume they're not doing any more at the market, okay? And yes, the reason the SBET stock hasn't gone up is because they were dumping on they were dumping a lot on us. I mean, look at these numbers. Look at these numbers, man. They sold, I mean, you thought Bitmine was selling a lot. Wow. These are extraordinary numbers. They sold $800 million. But this is why these stocks, these kind of investment vehicles are important. Imagine they were able to sell $800 million and to stake it for the 3% rewards, which will, if it doubles, become like getting 6%. If it triples, like getting 9%. Those rewards will be enormous. So in a way, what they did sounds crazy, but in a way, long term, for people who are going to hold this a little longer, makes a lot of sense. Yes. So it does make sense. And they're kind of running out of probably cash too. I think, yeah, $71 million equivalent on hand. So they got to be careful. Now, let's go to their dashboard. Okay, we got to look at their dashboard so we got a better understanding before we start grinding into them, because I'm seeing them get destroyed all over X. Okay, so for the most part, yes, this is a 3. Went all the way to 3.8. So you got to understand, once ETH starts moving, this NAV is going to move up. Now, a lot of people are like, well, even if it moves up, it doesn't matter because they keep selling into it. I have to agree with you. Kind of sucks. I would like them to take a little breath, little breather, let the stock price run a little bit, 19, 20, 21, 25, 26, 27. But I got a feeling they're looking more of a long-term basis than we are. They're like trying to accumulate as much. But yes, there needs to be a little bit of a breather taking place. You can see the rewards are stacking out. This is an enormous amount of rewards. 2,318 in ETH. You guys realize that that's already like over $10 million that they've already got? I mean, these numbers are going to be stacking up. This is like earnings, okay? So these numbers are starting to look pretty damn good. You see the ETH, it's climbing. I don't know. It's kind of slowed down, but they're still adding. That's the good news. I mean, they still went from about 700,000. Wow. I mean, if you think about it, in August 1st, they had about 500,000, about 800,000. So they're still doing their business, guys. It's not bad. Now, let's look at the ugly, because, whoa, is there ugly. Now, you look at the strategic reserves. We all know what's going on there, but let's look at the ugly. First of all, let's give it up to Tom Lee. I mean, he's up to 1.8 billion ETH, now worth $8.1 billion, making up more than 1.5% of all the ETH. He wants to get 5% of all ETH. He's not too far off, man. I mean, it took how long Michael Saylor of MicroStrategies to get to like, what, 1%? It took him forever. This guy's like, boop. Hey, man, I did it in a month and a half, bitches. Like, boop. He's just like unbelievable. Now, a lot of people are saying September is the crappy month. Is it? Is it though? September isn't as bad as people think. I actually went back and I looked at these 2 Septembers for ETH. ETH was actually up in both of those Septembers. This is for Bitcoin monthly returns. Bitcoin's been up the last 2, and this is the 3rd one, and it's up this September. September's considered a down month because the Federal Reserve does this weird thing where they run out of money and they kind of contract the economy a little bit until they refill the coffers, and then that's where you see October take off. So it's kind of like they kind of drain liquidity from the system. But however, and that's why it's usually a good month for stocks, because the Federal Reserve is draining liquidity and the banks are kind of not investing as much and so forth like that. However, when you start looking at crypto, September generally has been a weak month, but obviously the last 3, which this one is the 3rd one, has been doing well. And then also when you look at it, it hasn't really gone down like crazy. I mean, 2014 is 11 years ago. I'm not sure it's really relevant, but 7%, 5% negative, 7.3, and 13 here. When you compare it to the other months, I mean, August looks like I'd be scared to be. August was terrible. August has less green than September. People are scared of September? What about August? August is the month we should have been terrified with. September's like a setup for October, but August, have you looked at August? Negative 17, negative 18, negative 9, negative 13 in 2022, negative 11? It's a fucking disaster. No one's like, September. Have you looked at August? So this is the stupidity of X, the stupidity of people online. It's literally made people like sell their net worth in August. Oh, because September is going to suck. Yeah, no. It just, look at data, guys. Look at data. If you look at data, you'll start to understand things a lot better. And a lot of people just don't look at the data. I would be terrified of August. That's the month to be scared of, and that's probably because it's a summer month and there's less liquidity across the globe. So that's one thing you could give the argument. And then these other months, I mean, some of them are fucking shit too. I mean, I think September gets a bad rap, to be honest with you. I mean, some of these other months just recently, as November in 2022, had a negative 16 pullback and a negative 36 in 2018. I mean, these are tragic numbers for Bitcoin. So you got to understand, like, when you start looking, I mean, look at March, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months in a row, 5 years in a row, it was negative for Bitcoin. So, I think people get scared of certain things, but they're kind of make up the boogeyman. The boogeyman is in September. September is a setup for October. So if you're selling your SBET or you're not placing your bets correctly now, or you're selling your Bitmine because you think it's going to go lower and you think ETH is going to go lower and you think crypto is going to go lower because everyone's told you to be scared of September, you should have sold it in August. Or I should say you should have sold it in July, because August was the month everything went to shit. And the data just points out that August was going to shit. I actually don't think September is going to be shit. Actually, September's starting to look damn decent, in fact. And more we get into September, more and more it's going to look better, because the funding and then all the stuff and the liquidity stuff the Fed does as you get more and more into the month. I believe middle of the month it's kind of over with and it's refunding everything. So it's just going to start looking better as you're moving into it. The terrifying month to me is August. That's the terrifying month. I mean, some of these other months don't look all that great either, to be really honest with you. March looks, up until recently, March was an absolute disaster of a month too. Same thing with January. I mean, you had 45 years here of negatives. I mean, September's not it. So look at data before you panic sell. SBET is lagging BMNR and investors claim the stock is dead. Seriously, you're about to miss out. I believe this guy. I like this guy. I reposted it. I think Crypto Guru is correct. I think that we are about to miss out. I think a lot of people are about to miss out. You're angry for the wrong reasons. Okay? Yes, the team has not executed like Bitmine, but it's Tom fucking Lee. He's going to be on Joe Rogan. Okay? Where is this thing? He's going to be on John fucking Rogan. What do you think is going to happen when everyone finds out Tom Lee is on Joe Rogan? I said John Rogan. Joe Rogan. What do you think is going to happen? Bitmine is going to get a boost. And then after Bitmine, it's going to be SBET and probably some of the other crypto reserves. Okay? This is a big moment. This is a big moment. And this is from his own company, FS Insights. Okay? Rumor Tom Lee is going on Joe Rogan. This isn't priced in yet. Ethereum. Yes, this could have an impact on Ethereum. This could have an effect on Bitmine. This could have an effect on SBET. So the reason MicroStrategies did well, you guys have to start being real with yourselves. You guys have to start being real. We all got in this for a big time trade, and it sometimes works out, sometimes it didn't work out. I'm going to go through, and that's one reason I've been kind of like, I got a couple of trades I'm working out, which are big time trades, but I want to bring them to you when they're cooked, when they're ready, okay? So I'm working on some other stuff, and we're going through some data where I think I have some big time trades. So I'm going to bring them to you when they're ready and they're cooked, okay? But sometimes we look at the big time trade, but the big time trade takes a little bit longer. It could take 2 months, could take 3 months, could take 6 months. This is one of those big time trades. I believe BMNR and SBET will absolutely be explosive by the end of the year. And I believe whoever's invested in them now is in it way early, and they will both explode. People do not realize what will happen. They will be explosive in ways we do not understand yet, because these are financial vehicles. These are financial vehicles. These are not stocks. These are not companies. These are financial vehicles, okay? Or financial instruments, however you want to name it. So the fact that Tom Lee is doing these things, you have to be honest with yourself. This is how MicroStrategies got started. Saylor went on all these shows for years before anyone gave a fuck, before anyone even listened. Tom Lee, everyone's listening. It's just he needs more people to listen. He needs more people to wake up. This is part of the marketing. This is part of the narrative. This is what it takes. It's a struggle. These guys are on podcasts, TV, night and day, night and day, night and day. Like Saylor was. It's hard work. It's a grind. But this is what it takes. And when I see this from Bitmine and I see this from SBET, I go, okay, it's a matter of time. This is what people are not paying attention to. Okay? It's a matter of time. All right? So let's look at some other stuff because it's important. September dump has already happened. We are repeating 2017 patterns day in, day. Biggest pump is ahead. Oh, this is all on my Twitter, by the way, or X. My link is in the bio and in this video, so go check it out. Follow me. This is all important stuff. I follow hundreds of accounts. I filter out all the garbage for you guys. He's right. He's right. He's pinpointed the bottom. I believe the bottom has hit too. From what I saw in the data points, I was like, this is the bottom. This guy just confirmed what I was saying. Now, his chart here, I'm not so sure about, but as far as the bottom goes, for September. Everyone's talking about September crashing and burning. Usually when everyone's talking about a month crashing and burning, it'll probably do the opposite, which is exactly what's happening here. And people are going to say, oh, we sold all our stuff because we're scared of September. And then what they do is they rebuy in because they realize they missed out. Welcome. Welcome to the chart. This is probably exactly what has happened. A lot of other people are picking this up also. Then there's the last part. Almost 96% of chance of the Fed rate cut September 17th. A lot of great stuff happening in September. People are selling their bags. Market pump will be insane. Yes. Yes. So this is on poly markets or any of the other markets that you can look at. You know, the probability is now up to 97%. So they're about to cut rates September 17th and you're selling your bags and you're being a pussy. All right. Good for you. I mean, that's what happens when you don't look at data. Just look at data. You don't have to believe anybody on X or any YouTubers or nothing. Tom Lee's BitMine just bought an additional 14,000 ETH in the past hour. So this is recent news. This is not even an announcement. They're still buying, guys. This is what you want to see. You want to see BitMine continue to buy. They're almost at 2 million ETH. Do you understand how insane that is? Do you even understand how much ETH that means in rewards already off of 2 million? Do you guys even understand? Everyone is, I mean, it's so ridiculous out here. At 60,000 ETH a year, at $4,500, do you guys even understand what that is? Do you guys even understand that this is an enormous amount of money? Okay, my calculators have enough zeros. That's how much fucking money it is. How much is this? I'm like, I really want to know now. I mean, this is already like over, is that 100 million? I don't have enough zeros. That's what it is. It's a lot of zeros. That's all you need to know. So this is what's going on. All right, they're already making enough money as it is with 2 million ETH. You know, imagine what they make with 5 million ETH, and same thing with SBET. And that all goes down to earnings. Is it better to pick up ETH at 4,400 and bring down your NAV, or pick up ETH later at 8,000? That's the question. When your MNAV is better. They're playing a different game than we are, okay? Tom Lee has also been talking about, ETH has gone to 60,000. He might be right. Not right now, but I mean, 60,000 in the next like 5 years or something like that. I mean, but this guy actually made some interesting stuff. I don't believe it's going to 60,000. I think this bull run, I've already put my strategy out where I think it's going to go between 12 and 16,000. I think it's probably going to hit 15,000 around there, but it can go. Okay. Do you want to have your full bag of 5 million ETH in BitMine when it's at 15,000, when you bought it at 5,000, or you want to be still accumulating at 15,000 like Sailor is, which is like near impossible to pick up enough Bitcoin anymore because it's so expensive. So this is the difference between what Tom Lee is trying to do. He's trying to get as much as he can. Same thing with SBET. Get as much of it early. MNAV doesn't matter. Fuck the MNAV. Just buy. It's not a terrible plan when you believe an asset is going to be basically powering the internet, powering AI, powering everything, because it's the only trustless base we have. Only trustless, decentralized, fully decentralized chain we actually have that can be used by everyone. AI, by everyone. If you believe that's going to happen, well, guess what? The value of that chain is going to be very high, and you want to get in as much as you can. So that's another thing to think about. Somebody doing some technical analysis. He's got a point on the wedge, but, I don't know if we're going to go that far up, but we'll see. He's got a point on it. He's got a point on it. People mad about SBET, saying BMNR is up, ETH is up. SBET, no, not up. Joe and Joe are confused why investors are frustrated. I don't think they're confused. I think they got their own thing going on. I think Joe and Joe... Ethereum Joe and Joe Shalom, I can't say his name, have their own kind of plan, which is to get as much Ethereum as humanly possible. As you can see, they are buying it up like crazy. So that hopefully gives you guys a better idea of what's going on out there. And there was this Doge Reserve. There was this Doge. Oh my God, you guys. You guys think BitMine and SBET are bad. Oh man, you got to check this out. This is another one called this is a Doge Reserve. Look at this chart. Boop! Went up $7. Everyone announced because they did they did a private placement at $1 warrants. So they basically, you're worried about at the market for SBET. Wow, these poor bastards, look at that chart. Oh, they took their holders they took them out. They took them out to the barn and literally shot them. Why they did this? I don't want to call them the R word, but this was pretty bad. This was really bad. This is a little bit of incompetence right here. They probably had this in place before this shot up, but maybe at that point they should have been like, we can't do $1. It's going to look bad. We're going to look bad. Let's not do this. Let's give it to you at $3. Or like, we got to just do at the market. We can't do this. We're going to find another company, but they still went ahead with it. And they raised $175 million with the warrants at $1, which obviously they're going to exercise because it's at $1 and they'll exercise it and they'll plummet the stock. They already 3x their money. So is the way of reserve firms. So this is what you got to be aware of with these reserve firms. These are financial instruments. They're unpredictable. They are high risk. There is no guarantee they're going to stay above the NAV. But when the underlying asset starts to move, whether that's Dogecoin or ETH or Bitcoin, they will absolutely erupt in ways that you will not be able to predict. They will be absolutely fucking brutal in their eruption, okay? That is what you have to understand. And if you buy them below NAV, which we've seen with Bitwise, well, you can make a lot more money even. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm just looking at the data. I'm not here trying to get all crazy and, be your little hype guy. I'm not trying to be like that. I'm trying to give you guys the data. The data is saying we're in good shape. Is it scary to buy some of these stocks? Scary to see them go where they go? Yes, absolutely. Should they be doing a better job of managing, doing other things like bonds and convertible bonds? Yes, they should be. Why aren't they doing it? I don't know. I'd love to ask this of them. In fact, I've invited some of these guys over to come on my show. Some of these guys, including this guy, Bit Digital, Eatzilla, have said yes. I'm talking to them on my email. I'm going to ask them these questions. We're going to find out. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to figure out how to make a shit ton of money. But buying a stock for 1 or 2 months and being depressed is meaningless. Give this thing a little bit more time. Give them time to cook. Give this like 3-4 months. Give this the end of the year. I think we're all going to be very, very, very happy with the results here. But do not lose hope because this is still the very beginnings of all of this, okay? Anyway, guys, best of luck out there. I got some other big time trades coming up. I am very careful in what I position myself in, so bear with me. I got a couple things that are cooking, especially in crypto. Man, I called that World Liberty Financial exactly to the T. I said it's probably going to waver. It's not going to go lower than, I think I said 16 something, 16 cents, and probably going to waver in the 20 cent range. I mean, I hit that right on, and I hit a couple other points on that right on. So let's see what happens. I'm looking at some other stuff, World Liberty, MicroStrategy, some other stuff, and the plays aren't there yet. They're forming. So I'm waiting for certain price points, and I'll get to you guys. All right, guys, best of luck out there.